Hello Embers, welcome back to the channel, Final Flame here, and today we are back with Extreme Makeover Genshin Edition Part 2. For those of you who are new to the series, you can watch Part 1, this is the thumbnail, I'll have a link in the top right corner for an info card, or you can check the description or pinned comment. Not to mention, these are the rules for those of you who just need a quick refresher. These are the rules Stan gave me while playing on his account, and basically we're just trying to, fix up the account before Sumeru. Anyway, let's get into day 2. So, started off day 2, I decided, okay, let's work on Xiangling a bit, get her where she needs to be. So, as you guys can see, I'm having a little bit of an easier time with the Pyro Regis by now. I guess a little bit of investment's all you really need. And we managed to get Xiangling all the way to level 60, so it was a pretty pog moment. But the plan for today was to pick up where we left off on day 1, which is getting Fischl. I feel like Fischl was going to be a huge addition to this account, so that's what we did. We went back after we finished Kazuha's. We went straight into Xingyan's, Fischl's, and Mona's Islands in order to unlock the full cap for the floatsomes. And can I just say that the Golden Apple Archipelago has been a really good experience. Like, I love that they kind of like jam-packed all these character stories into one event. The only thing I really wish that they didn't do was not make this, not permanent. I wish it was permanent because there's so much like backstory and lore for these characters that people from years to come won't even be able to look into. And I never knew about Xingyan having as much trouble as she did, but she handled it like beautifully. And Fischl, it was really dope to see her like deal with, kind of like fight with herself and trying to stick with her ideals. And Mona was actually just kind of awe-inspiring. I never knew that she actually had so many issues as an astrologist. So it was pretty dope. But after we managed to clear all the story events, we got straight into it. We used Fischl's domain in order to finish it up because my characters aren't that strong, but Fischl's domain gives a lot of buffs. So I was able to get the rest of the fights done. And then it was finally time to unlock the Prinzessin de Verurteilung, Fischl. And man, she is going to be amazing for this account. So immediately after I got Fischl, I went to work. I needed to level this girl up as fast as possible. And I went to beat up the, Electro Hypostasis super quick. But yeah, I managed to make some progress on Fischl and Xiangling, not only in levels, but also in talents, because I kind of need those if I'm gonna be able to progress, in Inazuma. Inazuma's gonna be tough, but I think we're gonna be able to deal with it really easily. So, after working on Fischl herself, I decided, hey, let's level up the Favonius Warbow and Xiangling's, the White Tassel. So, we leveled up both of those weapons. As you can see, I just finished leveling up the White Tassel, got it to 60. Fischl's bow took a little bit of here and there work, but surprisingly, near the end of day 2, Stan came into the chat, and he was like, yo, I want Hazel. I'm gonna give you 20 rolls to get him. I was sitting there like, bruh, I've been trying to talk you into rolling for Kazuha before this challenge even started, and I finally gave up on it. And then you come out of nowhere and you're like, yo, Hazel. Honestly, I wasn't going to stop him. I'm going to be real with you. Normally, I would be like, you really shouldn't be rolling for a 4-star. But honestly, anything I could get was going to be a bonus for this account because the roster is quite limited. So having a few extra options was never going to be a bad thing. However, this is one of the major pitfalls of Inazuma characters. While, yes, trying to get Hazel was going to be huge for the account, and getting any other 4-star was going to be big as well. The fact that I actually managed to get Hazel and Toma meant that I couldn't build them right away due to the fact that, well, most of their mats are in Inazuma. And that is honestly something I struggled with throughout day 3 due to that fact. I wanted to play with Hazel, but I couldn't do much with him because until I clear Inazuma and, get everything I need from there, not to mention I also have to go to the Chasm, especially since Hazel, that's where his boss drop is. So Heizo, as much as I loved playing him, I really couldn't use him in the later stretch of day 3, but we'll get into that. But as you can see, we managed to get Heizo, Ningguang, and Toma, which was huge for the account. Huge. And we got all 3 4-stars and 20 pulls. It was actually really dope. I think if we didn't get Heizo, Stan was going to, you know, try and pull some more, but at that point I was really going to stop him because I was like, 20 rolls seems more than enough. But yeah, we got their levels real quick. I got some free acquaint fates, did a little rolls on that, got really nothing, and then we went to work on, you know, just trying to level up Fischl a little bit more, because as I said, there's not much I can do for Heizo until we really get to the Chasm and Inazuma. But don't worry, I will be making some progress in those areas later on in the series, so we will get some Heizo action. But yeah, that's something we'll have to deal with later. Anyway, after all of that, I was like, okay, since we have Heizo, I might as well go and unlock the Chasm. So I ran over there real quick, got the Statue of the Seven, you know, bingo bango, got the area, and then we had that all cleared out. However, I decided that instead of sticking to the Chasm, I think there's something else I should work on. So I went back into the weapon domain in order to prep for the long and arduous journey that was about to be ahead of us. Luckily, we were able to get Fischl's Favonius Warbow up and going, because this next part of the series, aka day 3, was rough. And if I didn't do some of this prep on day 2, I probably wouldn't have even finished what I did on day 3. So, leveled up Zhangling Spear again, also leveled up Fischl's Bow, and then we went back to the Golden Apple Archipelago just so I could wrap up the last quest in order to make sure, this is all done and good and I don't have to worry about this anymore. And then we moved on to day 2. And day 2 was intense. So, we went to Liyue. We did the Shenhe Archon quest where we met Yunjin, Shenhe, and, you know, rebuilt the Jade Chamber. Also, we fought Osial's wife. I didn't know, water vortex dragons, you know, got it on, but hey, I mean, animals do it, so why can't gods, right? But yeah, it was actually really dope seeing the Shenhe cutscenes, and this actually was brought up a very good point that I was wondering about for cutscenes within Genshin. Why are the cutscenes, especially like the in-game cutscenes like this, not archived within the game that we can watch them later on after we finish the quest? I feel like stuff like this really should be documented and accessible at any time. And don't get me wrong, I understand that they do like some of the really nice cinematic ones on YouTube and everything, but I do feel that these cutscenes really should be saved in games so that players can access them. Not everybody even knows that Genshin Impact has a YouTube channel, surprisingly. Anyway, moving on though, it was really dope just rewatching the story of Shenhe and getting to see her interact with, you know, Liyue and the people in it, and it was pretty dope. But this was leading into the next phase of the journey. As much as I wanted to go to the Chasm and start working on Heizo, I knew that there was something a little bit more important that needed to get done. And what I'm talking about is Inazuma. Because, as you guys already know, I plan to finish all the exploration, or at least get it to like 100% for Stan in all the zones that I can in order to maximize the amount of Primo Gems he has before going in the Sumeru. So it was very important that I started getting Inazuma done. Not to mention, I needed to start unlocking some of those, you know, time-locked quests as soon as possible so I could get them done and be able to access all of Inazuma in a timely manner. So, before we get into the Inazuma arc, let me just do, you know, a quick outfit change. Real quick, hold up. Alright, there we go. So now we are here in Inazuma. And just heads up, this is day 3. So, we went to Inazuma, met up with Ayaka, Toma, you know, learned about the whole Vision Hunt decree. And let me say that the nostalgia of doing the Inazuma quest after 1 year is crazy. Like, this stuff came out a year ago, and I just couldn't believe that it's been that long since. Honestly, it's not even that it's been that long, it's just that I can't believe that it happened like not so long ago. It's crazy. It's crazy the feeling and nostalgia I was getting while watching these cutscenes. I mean, seeing Ayaka get her socks wet as she danced was really dope. Not to mention hanging out with Yoimiya and watching the fireworks was another incredible scene. And it really just goes to show how good Hoyoverse is at just telling a story and, you know, showing off their characters in probably some of the best light possible. So it was really awesome just kind of seeing these story quests again and like replaying through Inazuma. And I'm really hoping that Sumeru gives us a lot more of these iconic moments. I mean, Hoyoverse usually has a good track record of it, so I'm gonna believe in them 100%. But I really do hope that Sumeru kind of just gives me that same feeling of hype and nostalgia once I kind of revisit it again. But all good times aside, it was time to fight the Raiden Shogun. And let me tell you, this was eye-opening. I thought like, oh, I invested in my characters enough, I can go make enough progress, I can clear all of Inazuma in day 3, no issues, no problem. Raiden Shogun opened my eyes that using Heizo was not gonna cut it. And she made it very, very clear. When I tell you that I fought her in this phase, and this is just the first fight that you lose on anyway, I fought her in this phase for like 15 minutes before I got her to the health threshold that you need in order to activate the phase where she takes away your abilities. It took me 15 minutes to get that done. I knew at that point it was no go on Heizo. I needed to switch back on Traveler and make sure I souped up Traveler a bit before I even thought about fighting her the second time. But after, 15 minutes of struggle, we managed to get through, save Toma, and we escaped the Raiden Shogun, luckily. So it was pretty eye-opening, that moment. I really didn't realize how weak my characters were until that point. So after, doing a little bit of work, I started progressing the story a bit more, made it to the, the Watatsumi Resistance, basically the Resistance. I got to see Kujo-sa and Goro do their thing, even, Sanga no Miya Kokumi. It was pretty dope, just like, it felt like I was watching a movie, because I was speeding through all of the dialogue, so it was just cutscene after cutscene after cutscene after cutscene. It was a really dope experience, 100%. But I will say that even with all of the progress I was making through the story, it was very clear Inazuma is built different. And I know a lot of people, whenever they're new coming into the game and they're not like hardcore players, they say it. And normally I didn't really believe them, but yeah, after playing on Stan's account, Inazuma built different. It really is. Like, I 100% understand why people, especially coming in a year ago, were struggling. And I imagine Sumeru's gonna be built different too once we get in there. But as you can see, I switched to the Nemo Traveler, made sure that their talents and everything were situated, and then we progressed to the story, and then we immediately get bodied by Scaramouche. And honestly, I'm okay with it because I know that we're gonna get some revenge against the Harbingers anyway by fighting Signora next. But it was kind of, lame that we didn't even get to fight him in Inazuma. I still think that to this day, but we'll see what happens in Sumeru. Anyway, I went into fighting La Signora, and the first phase actually went pretty well. I was feeling good. I thought that the second phase was going to be pretty solid. And then I learned the hard truth. La Signora needs some form of sustain if you cannot kill her in time. And as you guys know, there was no way I was going to be able to kill her in time. So after legit fighting La Signora for like 10 minutes and only making it this far on her health, I knew I needed to leave because it took way too long to make it to that point. However, I knew the issue wasn't really my damage, it was my sustainability. So, as you can see, I finally decided for the first time in the series to invest in Barbara. I got her some artifacts, got going, and bingo bango, La Senora was defeated and then slain. I still feel bad about that. I mean, dang, man, I was really kind of hoping that she would be a playable character, especially now that we've seen all of the other Harbingers, and I know they're not all gonna be playable probably, but still, it's just like, dang, man, kind of feels bad that we lost La Senora before we saw her with the squad. But, you know, it is how it is. Raiden Shogun hit her with the Museno Hitotachi, so yeah, there's really no coming back from that unless you're Kazuha. So, that's just how it is in this day and age. Anyway, after, you know, fighting La Senora, it was pretty evident that next up was going to be the almighty Raiden Shogun. And I felt pretty confident going into the fight. I knew that it was going to be a struggle, but if I just, you know, kept my wits about me, used Barbara and her new insane healing, which is like, what, 1k a tick now? I could manage. And let me say, watching Kazuha block the Museno Hitotachi is epic, even no matter how many times you watch it. Like, it's just dope. It's just dope. But anyway, without much further ado, it is about time for this fight to begin, and we get straight into it. And man, it was a fight indeed. I think I sat there and fought her for like legit 10 minutes in order to just get to the second phase, and that was rough, but we managed. I thought the second phase was at 50%. I was happy to find out that it was only about at 75, which was great because I was struggling. If it was 15%, I probably would have spent like a good 20 or 30 minutes in there. But the second phase of the fight was much easier. Obviously, because, you know, we got all the ambitions and buffs and all that good stuff. Also, she can't take away our abilities. So it was way easier the second part. But I do want to say it does feel like the Raiden Shogun fight got kind of dumbed down. I know that the Yae Miko Raiden training arc got like made way easier. It used to be if you get hit three times, the fight is, the training's over. But now they changed it to 10, and then the second one you don't even have a hit counter, you just have to fight the monsters. But anyway, second half of this second encounter with the Raiden Shogun was way easier. Managed to defeat her without much effort. Barbara honestly came in clutch. I mean, healers are important, y'all, especially if you don't have Zhongli. So yeah, Barbara really came in clutch, and with that, we actually finished up the main story for the Inazuma arc, which was huge, especially for the third day. I literally went through like, what was it, Shenhe's Archon Quest, then I had to go through the first part of the Archon Quest, then I had first part of Inazuma's Archon Quest, I had to do Ayaka and Yoimiya's story quest, then I had to do part 2 and 3 of the Archon Quest in Inazuma. I think that stream legit took me like 6 hours to complete, but it was worth it. It was 100% worth it. I had access to like 4 more islands now on Inazuma. I still have a lot more progress to go in order to unlock all the islands, and I still have quite a few time-gated features that I need to, you know, get out of the way. But getting Inazuma done this early is huge because I can just, you know, take it at my own pace. I don't have to worry about rushing it. I can explore the islands and make sure to 100% them very easily. So that was basically it for day 3. It was a pretty chill day. Yeah, nothing insane. Well, other than me playing Genshin legit 6 hours straight on stream. Nothing too insane. Also, I had to go back and fight La Senora, the weekly boss. But it was actually really good because that was the point. I got my first 5-star artifact drop that wasn't from the Adventurers Guild, which was huge for this account. It's huge because that means I can start getting my hands on some 5-star artifacts. Not to mention that I want to get the boss drops from La Senora and stuff for Toma, and also I need to unlock the Raiden Shogun for Heizo. And finally, we hit AR 40. which is another huge milestone as well, because that means world bosses have a chance of dropping 5-star artifacts. So, at the end of day 3, it was pretty good. I was standing on top of the world. I felt really great. And honestly, I can't wait to cover more of this series and share more of my progress. So, for those of you who are interested in, catching it live, check out my Twitch channel, link down below in the description and pinned comment. And honestly, I just thank you guys for the support. And that's all I really have to say. Other than that, Embers, remember to keep burning bright, and I'll see you guys next time. Latom.
I stay cooking in the stove like I'm John Lane. Get too close, I put that flame on you like two town mates. Try to run, you won't get far. My gun, you got sniper aim. One day when we find our sibling, we'll see brighter days. Yeah.